Hello, and welcome to this brief review on digital activation and usage training. I'm Cheryl Stevens, the Senior Manager for Digital Learning and Development. And today we're going to cover what we did in January when we talked about digital activation and usage training. Basically, we're going to review your needs dialogue, incorporating usage language. We're also going to cover positioning your digital solution using good benefit language. And then we'll talk about building a usage plan. So let's get started. When we talk about using usage language in the needs dialogue, the types of things that we're talking about are talking to your customer, saying things, open-ended questions like, what experiences have you had using digital products in the past? Or how do you tie your course syllabus to the materials that you're using? These kinds of questions are open-ended. They force our professors to actually talk to us and engage in a conversation about using the digital products. And more importantly, again, it's reminding them that you're not just simply adopting something that the students will never touch. You're actually adopting something that is valuable to their course, valuable to their students, and will really help the students improve their grades. A really good way to introduce your customer to the digital product smoothly when you're positioning it is to say things like, before I show you the product, I really would like to take a look at your syllabus right now and see where this product actually might benefit what you're already doing in your classroom. It's a nice soft launch, so to speak, so that it's not like you're coming in saying, hey, I know what's best. You're taking into consideration their curriculum, their current curriculum, and all the work they've already done and they've been doing for years very successfully. And then it takes a much more consultative approach in telling them that you just really want to be a consultative partner with them to make them the best that they can be. The following slide, as you'll see below, actually will show you a couple of phrases that you can use, and you might want to get comfortable saying these to your professors as you position your digital products. As we know, it is critical that you know what your digital product is, you understand what it can do, and you know the features that are inside so that, just like when you're selling a book, you can look at those products and then look at a syllabus, and you can even anticipate where some of those features actually might fit. You can actually lend a consultative suggestion to your professor if they're finding it hard to figure out how to use the product. A lot of times they want to use the product, they simply don't know how. In the past, we used to give them instructor's manuals that would be very detailed on when they should do what and in what portion of the chapter. But unfortunately, we don't always have that with the digital product. So this is a nice opportunity for you to work with your customer directly to try to figure that out together. With certain products, it seems more challenging to try to match it to a syllabus. For example, math typically would be a syllabus that says, this week we're going to do section 1.1 to 1.7. Next week we're going to do 1.8 to 1.15. So you say, well, where can I put my digital product in that? Well, at that point, you do want to also consider the end consumer, who is the student. Even though the professor might have a syllabus that is very straightforward and simply has the assignments listed, you might want to softly suggest that it would be beneficial to the students to do one of the tutorials before they begin the homework assignment. Or you might want to show them how easy it is to match those sections with the digital product itself. It's important to remember that only position those features in the digital product that really match what the professor said they wanted. The example I like to use is this. If you have a glass of water, an apple, and let's say a computer, and you find out that your customer says, gosh, I'm really thirsty. Well then, logically, you would want to show them the glass of water, right? But you'd be surprised how many times we go and show them the computer or say, hey, look at this great apple I have. It's very, very critical to pick the right feature in your digital product that matches the needs they ask for. Otherwise, we really run the risk of overwhelming our customer with all the bells and whistles and basically scaring them away from using a digital product. Building a usage plan with your customer actually serves two really good purposes. The first is to make sure, as we said before, that your professor has skin in the game. that they really understand what it means to incorporate new materials. Just like when they incorporated their new text and they had to devise a syllabus around it, they need to do the same thing with a digital product. One question I find extremely useful is the question of asking them how they envision actually putting the technology or the digital product in their syllabus. So often we ask this question and the professors are like, I didn't even think about that. They think that they can use the syllabus that they've used for years and that miraculously the digital product will be used. But in reality, we know that if they don't really write it in the syllabus, they haven't committed to using it, and their students certainly won't either. The second reason it is critical that they actually have some steps or actionable items to take in order to use this digital product, it will also provide them a comfort level with the digital product itself so that they aren't nervous about logging in and actually using the system throughout the term. Below is a slide talking about the actual usage plan itself and how you build it. There's actionable items for the professor. In other words, professor, this is what I'd like you to do before your class starts. I would like you to develop an idea of where the digital product will be used within the syllabus, at least for the first 4 weeks of class. If you don't have time to do this and you would like our DSC to do this for you, that's fantastic too, not a problem. But I do need you to be in communication with our DSC. It's this kind of consultative selling that will really go far with the customer. It's always a good idea as well to make sure there's some actionable items for you as their consultant. There's nothing more frustrating for a customer than having a digital product thrown at them and then feeling like they're left alone. So it's really nice to give them some actionable items that you'll do. For example, professor, when I come back next week or 2 weeks from now, I really would like to sit down with you and take a look at what you've done so far and see if there's any questions that you have up to this point. That's a nice consultative way of getting them to do the work before you come back, but also showing them that you are coming back and that you're not just leaving them with this digital product. Another suggestion is talking to them about the getting started, what we used to call first class in service, and the fact that you will be there to talk to their students about how to activate and use the product throughout the term as well. It's important to remember that you do have the activation dashboard so that you can see how many students have activated the product. This is critical information that you can bring back to your professor second, third week of class and say, I noticed that out of your 2,000 students, only 120 have registered. Can we talk about that? Is there something that I can do to help improve this? Many times the professors don't realize that that's the case. They think that the students have activated the product when they haven't. Sometimes you'll find that it's simply because they didn't have an assignment due until the third week of class. Again, you may want to promote an earlier assignment in the class so that the students can activate their product early before they possibly lose their login or their activation code. So in final review of digital activation usage training from January, remember that it is critical to get to the true needs of your customer. Position your digital solution like you would a textbook based on their needs, not all the bells and whistles, but simply what they need. And then build a really strong usage plan with them, actionable items for the professor and for yourself so that you can monitor the activations that take place and the usage throughout the term. This concludes our digital activation and usage training from the professor perspective. At the NES, you're going to actually engage in the activation and usage session, which will talk about all of the student-based services we can provide to ensure that the digital products are not only adopted, but they're activated and used throughout the term. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in July.